You're watching Global BC. This is Global News Morning.
We're not really terribly happy about the fact that this place was being rented like this.
A disturbing discovery in Richmond. A woman and a teenage girl found dead inside of a home. How neighbors are reacting. Good morning and thanks for joining us. First, a look at our top stories with Paul Haysom. Paul.
Thank you, Sonia. Don't pack away the parka just yet. An Arctic blast is bringing freezing temperatures to the south coast. Emily Lazatin is covering that story this morning. Emily, that winter weather started on Tuesday night.
Okay, thanks very much, Mark. Take it easy on the roof. All right, as far as traffic goes, we're having a pretty decent day. A couple of issues have popped up, and let's talk about that. So we do have a collision here. This is in Delta, so if you're leaving Surrey and you're taking 88th Avenue, you know that you head west.
Good afternoon, I'm Colleen Christie. Thanks for joining us. We begin today with breaking news. Charges have now been laid in a fatal hit and run in Kitsilano last year until his next court appearance. A new poll suggests a majority of British Columbians have a fairly united view of the pandemic. Keith Baldry joins us from Victoria with more on that. And Keith, what did the survey find? Anyone with information is asked to call IHID. The cost of replacing broken windows is adding up for BC businesses. A group representing 70 business improvement associations across the province is asking the government to create a fund to help businesses address vandalism and property crime before they're forced out of their communities. Imad Agahi reports. A former RCMP officer says his case is an example of Canada's two-tier justice system. Constable Paul Middlestead was charged with assault after an in-custody incident with a prisoner back in July of 2020. As Aaron MacArthur reports, while Middlestead has now been acquitted, he says the judge's ruling shows Crown should never have approved the charges against him. Vancouver police say they've arrested several people following what they call a volatile long weekend of violence on the downtown east side. In particular, at least 4 incidents involving officers seizing guns, many of them loaded, prompting the VPD to speak out about the issue. Next, a House of Commons committee will try to get to the bottom of alleged Chinese interference in the 2021 federal election. And Squire joins us now, and I have to tell you at home that there is pink in Squire's shirt.
Yes, there is. It's not quite as pink as your shirt.
Well, that's hard to match, though.
It's hard. I do have one in my closet, though. Pull that out at 6 o'clock. But yes, there are pink lines in this shirt. So I am conforming. But I am going to wear a pink shirt later on tonight, which will be more like yours.
Okay.
Okay. The Vancouver Canucks are going to take a look at R2 Raw2. All right. Oh, look, we have a new background.
Yes, we do.
I just noticed that.
We have a new set.
Oh.
All the shows have new sets.
Okay.
You'll be seeing them all day long.
All right.
Thanks so much, Squire.
Welcome.
One of the world's most successful rock bands is coming to Vancouver. We'll tell you about that next and what your dessert preferences say. And that is Global News at noon. Coming up, the City of Vancouver has released its draft budget. The tax hike property owners are facing this year, or could be, and why they likely won't like it. We'll have that on Global News at 5, the News Hour at 6, and for breaking news anytime, of course, BC One. I'm Colleen Christie. Thanks for joining us. Hope you have a great day.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. Sophie is off today. Charges have now been laid in a fatal pedestrian hit and run in Kitsilano 8 months after the crime that shocked witnesses. Good evening and thanks for joining us. Sophie is off tonight. MLA Melanie Mark made an emotional statement in the BC legislature today announcing she is stepping down. The first Indigenous woman ever elected and to serve as minister in BC had some harsh words for her opponents and others she's dealt with in politics. Richard Zussman has more on her message as she moves on. You and me. With more on the impact, let's bring in Consumer Matters reporter Anne Drua. Anne?
Thanks, Chris. It's called the excise tax, a federal government tax on alcohol production that has been in place for decades. The tax is set to inflation, and in the past, it's gone up 1% to 2% at a time. But this year, with much higher inflation, it means higher taxes for producers and likely more pain in your pocketbook.
The president of a small BC charity is speaking out tonight, warning others of a scam that saw them duped of 1,000 precious advertising dollars. As Kylie Stanton reports, she's speaking out, hoping to reduce the shame about being tricked.
I'm Trish Jewison in Global One at the Alex Fraser Bridge.
Imagine being able to walk into an airport, pass through security, and board the plane without ever showing a piece of ID or a boarding pass. Air Canada is testing the technology at YVR that could make it a reality. But as Julie Nolan reports, the public isn't quite convinced the technology is ready to fly. All right, thanks very much, Yvonne. Looking for bright spots in the Canucks, and there are a few of them.
Depends what you want the Canucks to do.
That's true.
Do you want them to make a big run at the end of the year? And
Jordan Armstrong is here with a preview of what's coming up on Global News at 11 tonight. Jordan?
Chris, Richmond RCMP are looking for some specific witnesses as they continue their investigation into a pair of random attacks on women last week. Good evening and thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with a new call to increase oversight of BC's trucking industry. And it comes from the industry itself. Crashes are piling up on BC roads, and new data obtained by Global News shows just how deep the problems run. Grace Key has our top story.